In August 2025, and this is Tac0 Admin. It's your boy Matt here. So, we need to begin instituting policies regarding gang violence. So, let's return to Michael Armstrong and the rogue BJJ community and the wider signals community, who I have thoroughly owned. Now, there's a wider group of people who are associated with Michael. He's a person who's quite involved in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community. And the way that things work in this community is that there's this idea that a lot of the skills that I have in promoting Tac0 come from watching promoters in this discipline. The problem that we're facing is that these people they need to be seen as juvenile gangsters. Gangsters is actually a bit too much of a compliment, but we're looking at we need to perceive the behaviour of these people as gang behaviour. It's not the behaviour of civil people. It's not the behaviour of people who are working towards constructive outcomes. These people are acting out of very silly reasons. And the best thing to do is to not provide them attention and not provide them anything to latch onto, because they're going to keep attacking. I am dealing with a large amount of harassment from these people. I don't want to describe the nuance of the harassment, because everything I describe provides attention to them, which they can then capitalize on to then continue to promote their ideas through my communication medium. But we need to make it very clear, these people are pissed off at me because I'm a lot smarter than they are, and I've basically made a complete mockery of them. And I've made a complete mockery of the signals community in Australia, the intelligence community. Like, these guys, they're fuckwits. Like, they think there's sort of like a big presence. It's like when they started interacting with me, they thought I'd be promoting them, they thought I'd be working with them, and I tried, but I realized that they're dickheads, and then I separated. And I have humiliated the signals community and the cybersecurity community, and they're angry at me. And so they're going to keep attacking me for that, and they're going to try and find a way to try and hijack my project. The reality of the situation is that the war's over and they lost. Like in Australian politics, ASIO is now the premier agency, and the Australian Signals Directorate's been put aside. Part of that has been because of me, because I was able to communicate to the public the culture of these people, the failure of them to be able to abide by basic principles of ethics, and the humiliation I've done to them is not something that they're going to forget. Michael's not going to forget this. Right? The signals community he's attached to is not going to forget it. So, first of all, I need protection, right? And secondly, we need to not feed them. There is a large section of there's a famous guy in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community called Eddie Cummings. Now, Eddie Cummings was a physicist who also did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's one of John Danaher's most famous students. And he left. He cut his ties to everyone in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community because he realized, whilst Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is amazing, he'd wasted a large section of his life doing something which he no longer enjoyed doing, and he realized that a large amount of the community is quite toxic. And he wanted to cut himself off from the toxicity. I'm cutting myself off from the toxicity. I like jiu-jitsu as an art, but I'm not going to engage with that community without control, because we've got some very, very toxic people who are involved in it. I am a civilian. I am a very loving, kind person, and I don't want to have to deal with juvenile behaviour. And a lot of these people are just really juvenile, they're not very intelligent, or they're attracted to a gang culture. And a lot of the behaviours I've been at the receiving end of have been in line with these things. And what I want to do is cut myself as far away from that community as possible, as Eddie Cummings did. I want to be able to do jiu-jitsu because I like the craft, but I don't want anything to do with the wider culture of it. Well, I'll take a step back. I want to involve myself with the promotion of the sport, sort of the same way that people in sports like netball in Australia do, as something like a community activity. But I don't want to have to deal with the gangster side of things, the tribal aspect. I'm trying to separate myself from these people, and I continue to be harassed by them. So, in conclusion, I needed our moderation team to ensure, because I'm hoping we have a moderation team, because there's an understanding that I've been held into a vulnerable position. People attack me out of sadism, so because they get joy from it. I have to deal with all these problems because of myself being a public figure. So I need the moderation team to be looking out for it. I need the authorities to look at Rogue BJJ as a sort of like the same way that we see maybe a Bikey gang. In that you'll have a Bikey gang and you'll have a lot of people who are there to ride their motorcycles and enjoy each other's company. But another large amount of those people are also people who are there who do enjoy violence, or are there for a feeling of group loyalty and are more interested in that and sustaining that culture and that identity than doing good works or doing the craft. And Rogue BJJ has become that. I was able to highlight that there's this cultural problem within the signals community in Australia, particularly the cybersecurity part, where people are really interested in just abusing people. And I'm one of those people who's been very badly abused by this culture. And I'm trying, as Eddie Cummings did, to separate myself from the toxic side of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community and the cybersecurity community. I want nothing to do with these people. I'm allowed to not want to deal with people. I'm allowed to have my own life. I don't need to be dominated. My goal is to escape domination and control. That's my goal. And I've got these people who are fascinated with dominating people, trying to do that to me. So in conclusion, I need our admin team our moderation team to watch out for it. I need the authorities to monitor it. And I need them to understand that we've got a group of people who are involved in signals and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu who should not be in any position of authority, and they have a particular grievance with me, and I need to be protected from this group of people. And I have not been protected at all, really. I've been held into a vulnerable position, which has meant that these people have been able to run amok with my life. We've had enough of it. I've had enough of it. The Australian public should not be okay with this happening to a citizen. We are a society which is meant to function, and we do not tolerate abuse by people in authority. In fact, when we find that the authorities abuse us, we punish the abusers, and that is what needs to happen. So that's Tac0 admin for today. I suppose the other thing I need to say is that because I'm a public figure, I need to let people know that I'm currently not dating anyone. I'm intentionally doing that because I have to deal with these fuckers trying to infiltrate my life. I need to say that because I'll have romantic advances come in, I have to reject all of it at the moment because I'm not safe. I have these sadistic motherfuckers who think they're cunning, but really they're just shit eaters. Constantly trying to fuck with me, so I have to presume people trying to get into my life are potentially people who are associated with them. And because of these people think they can do social engineering and these things, I have to be very mindful of who I interact with. So things such as online dating, Tinder, Bumble, can't do it. I can't do it. I go to the pub, someone approaches me, I have to assume that it's a plant. This is what happens when we allow these people to be involved in our community. We need to squash them. Our authorities need to deal with this problem. I've been jumping up and down. My life has been... These people are constantly trying to hijack my life, and it's horrifying. But I've owned them several times before. I suppose we just need to own them again. See you, everyone.